Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. Great. Hi. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for inviting us to speak today. So I'm Lois, as I mentioned, and I'm from Hello Tomorrow here in Paris. I know that Jean-Dominique already spoke a little bit about what we do at Hello Tomorrow, but I'm going to share a bit more with you today in case you're not too familiar with what our work is all about and the different activities we have. So Hello Tomorrow is an international organization, and we're really dedicated to pushing through deep tech. We do so in many ways. Firstly, by supporting entrepreneurs that build cutting-edge technologies, and also by enabling an ecosystem that connects those startups with key actors who can further help them grow. So more concretely, what exactly do we do? Well, we have a combination of different activities that we've been building over the past 10 years. One of the main ones is organizing events. So to date, we've organized already over 100 international events. And the objective behind those events is really to foster the connections amongst various deep tech actors. And we do so, across the world and across several industries. We're most well known for our annual global summit. I'll speak more on that, but it's happening next year in Paris in March 2023. But we also organize a couple other key events alongside that's dedicated to investor and startup meetings, some VIP networking, and many other types of side events. Beyond the events, we also do stay active within our network. So for the startups in our network, we run several competitions. I'm sure you've already heard about the local challenges in Japan and in Asia Pacific, but we also do have the Global Challenge. These are all unique competitions. They're really dedicated to deep tech early stage startups. And the idea is to, help them gain their initial visibility worldwide, but also to meet future investors, partners, and clients. So in addition to the Global Challenge for startups, we actually also have been able to build a community who we call our deep tech pioneers. We give those deep tech pioneers visibility among our network, some practical resources, and business and funding opportunities all year round. Now, for those investors in the audience, we do have an investor network as well. And for those investors, we regularly share investment opportunities and take the opportunity during our investor day or throughout the year to make introductions with startups from our deep tech pioneers community. At the same time, we also work with corporations. We do provide them tailored services on open innovation across industries and technologies. This can be in the form of startup challenges or kind of acceleration programs that we work on together with. So as you know, it does take an entire ecosystem to support the growth of deep tech. And indeed, all the different actors in our network, so that's startups, investors, industry leaders, accelerators, and more, they represent a wide range of industries, and they each play an important role to advance deep tech and the promise of deep tech to solve global issues. So I'm going to go a bit further into our different activities, but I'll focus mostly on the Global Challenge and also on the events that will be happening next year in March. So our Global Challenge. So this is a competition. Again, it's open worldwide that we've been organizing since 2014. So many of you might know, startups in the audience, that the Japan Challenge is now closed, but no problem. If you did not get to apply, you can still apply to the Global Challenge, which is currently open. Again, the goal here is to support early stage deep tech startups that are developing some pioneering solutions that try to address many of the global challenges that we're facing in the world today. So with the Global Challenge, we do cover all industries and technologies. So that means you can be from aerospace and environment to advanced computing and healthcare. We also accept, again, applications from startups from across the world, from all over the world. And since we launched back in 2014, the very first Global Challenge, we've had many previous winners and finalists, and I'm happy to say that actually all of them have raised over $2 billion to date. So you might be wondering who can apply to the Global Challenge. Well, first, because it is a deep tech competition, your innovation, so it's whether it's a product or service, it should be based on new technology and scientific discovery or a complex engineering process. The second criteria is that you should be in the early stages. And for us, that means startups who are not even incorporated yet, and to those startups who have raised a maximum Series A funding round. So if you're a startup just looking for your first clients and investors, then you would be a really great fit for this competition. Another important eligibility criteria is impact. We look for startups with a solution that can positively impact our society, the environment, or an entire industry. Now, we can go into what's in it for these startups who do apply. Well, one of the main things we offer is connections. As I mentioned, we really have a wide network composed of investors, large companies, and fellow startups. So you'll have the chance to make valuable connections with these actors during our global summits and all year long. So most of these can lead to business and funding opportunities for you, or it can even help you find your key team members. For instance, one of our previous participants, they actually found their CEO at the summit. And then if you're selected a winner, you would also receive personalized coaching from experts, plus introductions with potential investors, partners, or clients. The second thing we offer, of course, which is important for startups, is global visibility. The first thing you get is that you do receive this Deeptech Pioneer label. It is essentially a sign to our community that you've been recognized by us as a top startup in your industry on an international scale. Then during the Global Summit, selected finalists also have the chance to pitch on stage for an audience of 400 people. And at the same time, even if you're not a finalist, we do have a chance, for Deeptech Pioneers to showcase in our dedicated exhibition area. And finally, a competition wouldn't be complete without the financial perks. So we have 3 winning prizes. We have a 100,000 euro grand prize, 30,000 second prize, a 20,000 third prize. And even if you don't win, however, you still have access to funding opportunities through our Investor Day. Again, I'll speak more on that a bit later. And you'll also be able to advertise any open fundraising you have at any time of the year. We share that pretty regularly, as I mentioned, with our international investor network. So just to give you a taste of some of the different winners we've had over the past years, you can see them there on the screen. They're working on very different solutions for healthcare, climate, and industry. And they've all accomplished several big milestones since they won the challenge. One I would like to particularly highlight is Lilium. They were our winner in 2016. And actually, when they participated in the challenge, there were only 4 students, and they didn't even have a full-scale prototype when they won the grand prize. And since then, maybe you're familiar with their work, but they've actually built and flown their prototype, and they've already raised a few hundred million euros. And last year, they announced a SPAC merger. I also wanted to highlight New Protein, who's not on the screen, but they are a Japanese startup who participated in the Japan and Global Challenge last year. They went all the way to the finals, and they actually ended up winning in their category as well. So there's definitely lots of opportunities for startups. And just to get to a bit more practical bits, so for any of the startups that are listening, it is open and it will be closing in 3 weeks on September 23rd. So I highly encourage you to apply soon so you don't rush with your application in the end. Once those applications close, we'll have the review part, and then we contact the selected Deeptech Pioneers by November. As I mentioned, Deeptech Pioneers are essentially those that fulfill the criteria and been considered amongst the top. We selected about 700 last year, and we give them access to a lot of exclusive opportunities. I mentioned some already, but one of the things that they will access, for instance, is our Investor Day. So they can have one-to-one meetings with investors, or also free tickets to the Global Summit. Then there's also, of course, all year round perks. Then after we select those Deeptech Pioneers, we will select the finalists. We will select about 60 of them who will be announced in early January. And those finalists would be invited to pitch during the Global Summit in Paris. As I mentioned, the Global Summit is not only, of course, for the finalists, but Deeptech Pioneers as well. I'll go more into those events that I've just mentioned now. So yes, the global first is the Global Summit. Of course, this event, again, is not only open to startups. It is our flagship event, which gathers about 3,500 international attendees. This includes entrepreneurs, investors, industry leaders, accelerators, and the like. During 2 days, our goal is essentially to inspire attendees about the incredible possibilities of deep tech. We want to generate really strong and valuable connections between the different actors that are attending. And next year, it will be happening on March 9th and 10th. And we're very happy to welcome any of you to discover this space. We'll have several stages and exhibition areas where you get to meet different people in the ecosystem. Another key event for us is the Investor Day. So this event takes place the day before the Global Summit on March 8th, 2023, and it is only open to our selected deep tech pioneers and to our investors. It is a day dedicated specifically for one-to-one meetings between startups and 150 VCs and CVCs. You can see already some of the previous investor attendees on that screen. And of course, the goal there is really to create business meetings so that hopefully some of these startups that we've included in our community get fundraising leads. They're, within the investor network that we invite. We also initiated a new event last year that I wanted to particularly highlight with our partner, the Boston Consulting Group. And this event is called Financing the Future. So it was quite successful last year, and so we'll be hosting it again in March, on March 9th. So this is a VIP networking and discussion event where we invite limited partners and general partners to learn about and discover opportunities in emerging technologies. So if you're not quite familiar in the deep tech space, but you'd like to be as an investor or limited partner, then this is a good event for you. The idea is to also share best practices, to help you find co-investors and or limited partners, and ultimately to work together to strengthen the deep tech ecosystem. So in addition to those 3 events, we also have several side networking events that are organized by some of our partners, which you can see on the screen. They will focus on, specific industry topics, but also peer-to-peer learning among corporates, for instance, and many more. That's pretty much it for me. I really thank you for your time. And if you want to know more about the Global Challenge or our events, happy to take your questions, or you can reach out to me directly after this session. Thank you.